We have to be very, very conscious about who we allow, like who we spend time with,
Yeah.
because even you can spend a short period of time with somebody who doesn't have a growth mindset, and it can completely flip you. Maybe not for forever, but just for that short period of time, you go from like you like a pancake, you know what I mean? And now you're on the other side. And
You know how that feels.
you
You
know
know
what
how
I
that feels.
mean?
It's like the energy is not high frequency. It's not like, yeah. It,
Yeah.
for me, what you're saying makes me think about whether someone is in the past or if they're in the present, right? Like what you were saying. It's like,
Mm.
I think that also signifies a growth buddy. I think a lot of us visit the past from time to time because we're human beings and we have memories and traumas and all these stuff. But are you choosing to like truly make a decision to live from the present moment and, thinking ahead about where you want to be? Or are you defaulting to the past, to stories of the past? And I think for me, a growth buddy mostly lives in the present and has a strong optimism about the future. And when they are visiting the past, because they're human, they're aware of it, right? And they know how to guide
Ooh.
themselves into the present. Because I have spent a lot of time in the past with people, friends, and yeah, different kinds of people who would just very much so be in the past. And that affects you, because that is not an expansive energy. It's not imbued with optimism. And I understand why people do it, but it's really important that we make peace with our past so that we can be like be here now. And so that for me signifies a growth buddy, like someone who is like willing to be here in the present moment and be aware of when they're not.
That's so good. Aware of when they're visiting the past. I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
remember that. I like that. It's like they don't allow the past to like suck them in. You
Yeah.
know, like
Like,
it's
what's
like I'm
happening.
talking about it. Yeah, I know what
Yeah.
happened. I know what happened. But
Yeah. I miss
we're
him,
here
but he's
now.
not the one.
Yeah.
I love him, but he's not the one.
I love it
Don't
when
be
it's done.
stupid now.
No, like literally self-awareness and awareness of where you are mentally. Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
looking for. I'm looking for a growth mind. And my growth buddy, I'm looking for a growth mindset. And I'm
Yeah.
looking for self-awareness. And I'm
Mm.
looking for um but to be fair though, I feel like I have such a great group of friends. I feel so fulfilled in my friendship, like in my friendships. You're one of my closest friends, and I feel like we can talk about anything, and
Yeah.
it genuinely is such a pleasure to know you and to feel like seen. And if
Same.
I need to hash something out and to think about it and to really dive into it, we go there. But we always end on the okay, like where are we going from here? You know,
Absolutely.
where how are we because we don't typically have the same conversation twice. You know what I
No.
mean? Like we'll have a conversation, and maybe some advancements might have been made in a relationship or whatever, and then we might come back to it and say this is what I'm struggling with. And then it's like we remind each other of our strength and our power, and then we move on. And
Yeah.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and grace, I'm looking for
Grace is
grace.
so important.
Yeah.
I feel very fulfilled in my like deep friendship with you and the friendships that I have. And I have some great friendships. The great thing is that we have a shared understanding. So there's no, we're not performative. We have nothing to prove to each other. There's no like, oh, we have to call each other this amount of times or these are the rules. There's none of that. Like, I'm just like, hey, whenever you come into my space, you're very welcome to. When you're not, you're busy. I'm sending you love. Like, there's just such a deep love and there's no expectations, no demands. There's a lot of freedom in my friendships. And that's why I say I'm very satisfied when it comes to friendships. And that's why I have very high standards when it comes to letting somebody new into my life in terms of friendships, because my friends are fantastic and we've worked so hard to get here. Now I have acquaintances and I meet people in many different ways through my work, and those interactions are very meaningful as well.